Twisted Fate now coming in. And it's coming in blind. Now, the issue is that even though TF has counters, can Dove pilot any of them? You know, it's actually a champion that is so insane here already, given what DRX has shown, but we're not going to see it, would be Anivia.
What?
Yeah, no one...
Who's that? What do you mean?
Who's that Pokemon? Articuno would be very good. Not only does she offer a lot against Twisted Fate, she destroys Kalista inside of team fights. And I think there would already be more than enough information present so early to even pick her, but we're not going to see her. No, so just wanted to throw that one out there. Okay, SANDBOX back at it again here with the Olaf and the Karma being locked in, and Yumi's available.
Yeah.
In theory, so Yumi could also be picked up to go with Aphelios. Now, maybe DRX just bans it away as they're picking up the Graves.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a banned here. I don't think you can give Karma, Yumi, Olaf to one.
Karma, Yumi, Olaf would be pretty scary, and then see someone just pick up Soraka, and it's like, well, what's going on here, guys? As I imagine Yumi is the ban. Okay, thank you.
We did it.
We did manage to at least get that far.
Yumi banned. They're not going to pick it with the Kalista, of course. And let's see what they take away. Volibear going to be denied. Well, I wonder if they thought that would go with the Kalista.
Yeah, well, Volibear support is something that I actually theorized to be the best out of all of his roles. Just because he feels awkward when you put him in the jungle. He's among the same family tree as Olaf and Set, where it's sort of like Olaf, Set, Volibear.
Yeah.
And then I guess if you want to keep including champions in that, it would be like Vi. But he is from that school of thought. And Zilean getting banned away as well. So yeah, all of these supportive champions that would be very on theme with the B1 through B3 of SANDBOX does get answered. And I have no idea what SANDBOX is actually thinking with what bans they want to go with last, because there's still just so many things wide open. It's going to be Kale. And I guess that's signaling an Ornn?
Would be interesting. Offers you some hard engage and some frontline for the Aphelios, even more on top of the Olaf.
You know what? It actually could be Kale's support that they're targeting. As weird as that is.
Really?
Yeah, they've played, some of the DRX members have actually played Kale's support on stream, but it just strikes me as such a bizarre spot to think that could be a thing, and okay, I guess it is. No, not Ornn. Okay, Ornn. And if they pick a melee support into the Taric, I'm a little bit worried. Karma might just get flexed to... Okay, so it's going to be Aphelios and Lulu. And now you know that you're going up against Ornn, so how is Doran going to answer this champion?
Yeah, already you look at their lineup and it's actually quite scary. You have double support essentially. I'm going to switch it to Tahm Kench.
Yeah.
I feel like you're getting heartburn right now after seeing that pick.
Middle of my chest is getting a little bit tight as...
Yeah.
All right, Aurelia being hovered right now. So, I mean, again, they're choosing lots of champions that run into Aphelios. So, even though it is DRX versus SANDBOX here, and one might feel really confident, there's still the potential to see 200 years. This is yet another draft that is not trying to respond to Aphelios. It's not trying to acknowledge the fact that he can 200 years you. And so, it is a little bit worrisome. Still think that DRX will end up winning this one, but SANDBOX definitely has outs, and they have a lot more insurance. Because as weird as it is, they scale pretty good. And with the way that Karma builds, she's going to get Death Cap 3rd. That's an ornament. Molten Edge on Aphelios, that's another ornament. Olaf, I have no idea if he'll actually pick up
Redemption.
Get off the desk.
What? We used to see that from
Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah. Where is he now? Hoping he comes back. We miss you, Tarzan. The Tahm Kench, very interesting last pick there for Gorilla. Didn't want to play the Lulu. Instead wanted to, I suppose, take away any chance that the Aphelios gets picked by a TF Kalista kind of combo, I suppose, up against the Taric as well.
Yep, and we'll see what Pyosik and Chovy can manage to do to get this game rolling, because they're going to have a pretty big reliance on the Dragons and trying to threaten them early. And they have all the lane setups in order to do it, despite there being an Olaf on the enemy team. So Olaf probably feels very bad with what he's being presented with. And Summit should be able to win lane on his own accord against Doran. Remember, this is patch 10-12, it's not 10-13, where Ornn can no longer do this opening, because the HP that he purchases now does not go up. Do you know what I mean by that? It doesn't increase, it increases his HP, but it doesn't add it immediately.
Oh, okay.
So if he builds a Ruby Crystal, his total HP bar goes up, but
not
he doesn't
current.
get,
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
That seems really broken, to be honest, to have that be a thing.
Yeah, it's hurting him very badly.
I'm glad. I can't tell if you're sarcastic or not.
No,
I feel like Ornn is still really good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, yeah,
you're just going to have to
annoying.
Be more aware of the spots that you're trying to pick him.
Yeah.
And as long as he can build into Null Magic Mantle, will be okay, Cloth Armor, Chain Vest, etc., then he'll end up being fine.
You see they gave that one over to Chovy? Chovy's like, hey man, I gotta get that extra 10. I am the true carry of this team.
I actually forgot, does Twisted Fate's passive work on wards?
You know what? I hadn't even considered that, but I think the answer is no.
Twisted Fate has a really busted passive.
It does count as a CS though.
Well,
I don't know. If someone knows out there, make sure to at LSXYZ or Brennan Valdez and let us know.
Well, meanwhile down here in bottom lane, not a whole lot of action. As just some trades happening between Deft and Keria. And Root is going to get quite a bit of poke. Graves just clearing his red side jungle a little bit slower than that of Olaf. Understandable.
I'm getting word that it works on pretty much anything that you destroy.
All right.
Even like a trap or a turret or something like that. So, like, you know, like a Heimerdinger or a Aphelios turret. So, makes sense. I mean, you're getting a CS, you're taking out something. So it should proc. Feels pretty nice for the TF player. I don't believe he got a proc on that ward, but still.
In Summit, that we just ended up seeing up there in top lane, he has the grasp, so important for him to get a lot of value. He's also winning this lane, I would say, very hard, all things considered. And you can see Doran just being very reserved here. Wonder if he'll just hard crash this next wave and then immediately recall? That would definitely be probably the best option. And he's going to convert this lane pressure into allowing Pyosik to go down and get the left side Scuttle Crab, as OnFleek is already looking for a recall. So it does look like we're brewing up yet again for a very slow early game.
Although Doran is getting kind of clapped up here in the top side. Misses pretty much everything. Summit is on the chase.
Zoning him out of a lot of EXP, forcing a recall too. Meanwhile in mid, Chovy not finding super success. Now, Karma historically is known as one of the best neutralizing picks that you can have in a lane. It's very, very hard to do stuff against her. She's always able to get priority on a whim. Very, very awkward.
Yeah, she's already having a lot of fun here. Although, you know, it's a very slow lane. It's kind of neutralized, and Chovy is he's already getting some nice procs here, some nice gold. +6, and yeah, I mean he's going to be able to push back as well, being TF, and we'll see what kind of plays they'll go for. Will they try to set up some kind of 4-man bot side gank in, you know, some kind of short time here? Once Chovy does hit 6, TPs are down for both Doran and Chovy, although Dove still has his, so saving that to potentially answer a level 6 or level 7 gank out of Chovy's TF.
Well, Pyosik coming in here, going to end up finding OnFleek, who is on the golems, and we just have a ping-pong laning phase happening back and forth here. Not a whole lot really occurring. Catalyst versus Fiendish Codex there in mid. Chovy does now have level 6, so we'll see what he can manage to do with it with any of the side lanes, as well as whenever Pyosik's in close proximity. But I mean, Pyosik just, honestly, is World of Warcraft right now, so not a whole lot. And Olaf a bit faster at doing everything. He's going to move in here now and pick themselves up the Cloud Dragon.
You got multiple little ghosts coming out here, going to spot this, and actually they're going to fight over this. The stun goes down onto the Tahm Kench, and here comes TF. He's a little bit far away, but he's able to get in range, and with no Devour, he's able to land that stun, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to get anyone here.
Yeah.
Even though they did deny the dragon and did a nice amount of damage to push away SANDBOX, no kills go down.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, is that they get the heal and the flash out of Root and Gorilla, and all that they expend for it is the Destiny Gate out of Chovy, and then he had the wave already crash, so he doesn't lose anything, and then Dove tries to insta-shove it, and Chovy already is back, so...
Look at this wave, too.
Yeah. Everything is just...
actually
going really bad in the blink of an eye for SANDBOX here. And Doran, I mean, okay, Summit doesn't have teleport. Doran could have just pulled the wave and then froze as his jungler's in close proximity.
Nah.
But, okay. All right, he's sort of pulling it.
Yeah.
Not quite. And so Summit's going to be able to walk up.
He definitely pulled it a little bit as Olaf is coming in here, but he's spotted, I believe.
Yeah, well, this is still a little scary, Yahtzee.
Maybe not, as here we go, getting to work on a Doran who's going to go the opposite way. He is going to flash, but he kind of failed over the wall. Gets close to Pyosik here, who doesn't quite have the damage. He's still going to go on the chase, but it's a little bit too risky, and that's going to be first blood, going the way of OnFleek.
I mean, this is one of the things I was mentioning last game, right? Where laners aren't coordinating with their junglers. So Doran had no business trying to push the lane at all whatsoever. He should have been so happy that it was coming into him. And see where that little C is with the cement sort of in front of the turret?
Yeah.
You can just freeze the wave there in front of his top tier 1, and Summit doesn't have a lot of resources to actually just stay inside of the lane. Pyosik gets to farm completely unscathed, and everyone's happy.
You're in a much safer spot to ganks, too, if you pull it back faster. And so that gank may have not even happened, or it might have forced them under turret and given Pyosik a better chance to catch up and follow up for, you know, a counter gank later on. Just a lot of little things that benefit you from just one little decision. And I think that's been your point all along. But he doesn't go for it this time around. Gets punished for it. I like how Chovy just cycles it in front of Dove, never really showing him, okay, you know, I'm holding up my red card. I'm going to AoE the wave. Here I come. It's like you never know what he's going to stop on. Good TFs always do that.
Deft and Keria just trying to keep up the pressure down here in bottom. Chovy has priority as well over the Karma. And you can see what Pyosik is trying to do. He's stealing away a lot of OnFleek's jungle. He got his red buff as well as his Raptor camp. Also, they got the first Cloud Dragon for themselves, and that's really good for Twisted Fate for his Destiny Gate. But the thing I often say to people is that, well, you're not always immediately casting all off cooldown. And so there's going to be some cases where that 10% CDR is really nice on the ultimate, but in a lot of them, you just sit on it.
Yeah.
And you would have had the ultimate up at a normal time almost regardless. So we'll see. Destiny Gate is up again. Rod of Age is almost complete.
Yeah.
For TF, we're at 10 minutes into the game.
What if individual Cloud Drakes also gave like 2% CDR on all abilities? That would be, you know, you're talking about stuff that you use off cooldown. I feel like most people at the highest level are using them pretty much off cooldown.
What I really would have liked to have seen is rather than the ultimate, have 2.5% summoner spell. And then 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10?
10, yeah.
% summoner spell cooldown. I think that would be way bigger, and that would actually cause infinitely more potential action than an ultimate could ever hope to achieve. Because if you trade flashes in lane, but your flash comes up 2.5% faster,
you can set up a
you
gank.
can actually set up a gank or a solo kill knowing that you don't need to achieve that. And well, some people, they'll turn their brain off and go, well, can't you just go Ionian boots and do that? Well, no.
It's not the same
That's not
at all.
It's not the, no.
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 It doesn't work that
Guy in
way.
chat. 2 minutes and 30 seconds until that Mountain Dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe eventually that will get changed. I think we're getting closer and closer to Worlds patch, and I don't think they would, you know, make a big drastic change like that because Cloud Drake would go up really very fast in priority, I think, if that change was made, and potentially put them on a similar level to some of the other ones.
Yep. And I mean, that's the only dragon that does feel pretty lackluster. Obviously, when you get to Cloud Soul, stuff can get a little bit exciting. But I still have yet to ever meet an instance where a professional player or a team would ever want Cloud Soul over Ocean or Infernal.
No,
Sometimes there's arguments, obviously, but
you need very specific crafted compositions.
Yeah.
Which is why there was also that talk about, you know, well, might have to hold that thought as Pyosik's just going to go over the wall. There was also that talk about having like the first two Drakes visible. As here we go, getting into the action, and down it comes.
How many years?
Cosmic Radiance as a big knockup comes in, but where is the follow-up from DRX? It's not really there, as that's a big knockup onto the Aatrox, who's going to try to flash just to buy some time. And follow-up there on a Pyosik, not really going to find the damage, though, as he was burning a bit. Dove not quite able to follow him down here. As Chovy with Flash is going to force the stopwatch, and the wild card is going to get him, actually. But did he bait his team into a bad position here?
Yeah.
Deft is going to get clapped down, and Chovy is as well. And so many casualties now against DRX's SANDBOX. With all 5 members down here, minus the TK, they're going to be able to get a nice amount of damage onto that turret.
Yeah, and so this is a very big victory for SANDBOX. DRX, I don't know what Chovy was doing right there. He ends up expending his flash as well, and we take a look at what ends up happening. Cosmic Radiance comes out, but then SANDBOX on a full-on retreat. Doran comes in, casts the World Ender, but the World Ending was for himself. He ends up flashing away, dies nonetheless. Very big knockup on the Pyosik. He's forced to flash away, almost dies as well. And then take a look at Chovy. As he goes forward, expends his flash, but Dove is so healthy, Summit rejoins the fray. This didn't need to happen. They could have just taken the victory and backed off. Now, as we come back into live, Mountain Drake should be up by now. I'm imagining they're on it. Okay, well, close. Close.
It's up. You were half right there, LS.
Yeah,
And
honestly, they started the resume a little bit too quick. Yeah. That's all.
You're expecting more replay.
Production hates me. That's all that's happening.
They switched it back because they weren't doing it, actually.
Yeah.
No flash here on Chovy. Is going to be able to get the red smite down. Do they have the burst? The flash out and the shield. Feeling pretty inspired right now. He's going to get out of that one. Dove showing why that karma can be so annoying to deal with.
Well, that is very unlucky. But Dove managing to live. So the gold score very even, but that mountain is so valuable against DRX. And also they rolled Ocean, so things are pretty interesting here. Now Gorilla, he gets tapped by the Cosmic Radiance. Aphelios letting them know how many years. Yeah.
Way too many. There's the double kill, and by the way, it is Karma TK. So you're not gonna be killing him here. As under the turret, he's able to threaten the yellow card. As Deft and Keria may have forgotten for just one moment who they were playing up against. Now Root is 3-0-1, and their composition is not, well, it's pretty trash actually into this Aphelios.
Oh, it's really bad. I mean, we said it from the get-go that they continued to draft short range, hard engage, and then apparently people want to cry foul. So Root with the white gun, already locked and loaded. Highest DPS. I blanked for a second. Thank you. And just so much damage coming out by Aphelios. And SANDBOX, I mean, with Kalista and Taric falling this far behind, it might just be over.
Mechanics. He said, devour me. I think that's the best way to put that one. And yeah, was extremely safe the entire time. Knew he always had Devour off cooldown, ready to go in case there was any danger. Deft and Keria kind of just ran into him and said, yeah, let's make that champion look even stronger.
Well, this is one of the things that we've talked about quite often. This really isn't an Aphelios problem by any means. This is, you drafted something that's really poor into him and then you're complaining. So if 4 or 5 people always clumped up against AP Malphite and got one-tapped by his RE combo, yeah, I mean, it's not...
Season 1?
Yeah.
Malphite was around then, right? He wasn't like, wasn't he like one of the first?
Oh, well, I joined League in Season 4.
Oh, true,
so.
Yeah, you're not a League boomer.
Yeah.
He was very early on, if not in the first batch. So I'm just thinking, like, early on, that probably was a little bit of an issue, I suppose. But, yeah, it's teams not really recognizing how to deal with it. And we thought that maybe DRX would know because they left it available and they took away Dove's Azir instead of banning Aphelios. So we were like, hey, must be pretty confident into this pick. And then they come into the actual game and then they show that they actually don't know how to draft against it. They don't really know how to play against it, as we saw in that last fight. Obviously, it was just one mistake, but those are crucial mistakes that can lose you a game if this Aphelios gets too fed against your comp.
Yeah, for sure. As DRX now, at this point, are pretty hard-pressed to come up with something. They're now down 1,000 gold. Their team composition does not outscale the opponents, even though the Kalista is also semi-enabled by some of the champs on the side of SANDBOX that she'll have a lot of Ren value. Aphelios is just so scary, and the ornaments are going to cause such a problem.
Fat flash.
Right, they're tilted out of their minds right now is what they are.
Yeah. I mean, even if he followed, he would be the only one. Ornn just dodges the stun. Like, you're not really going to have a good time in that instance. So, not sure what he was thinking, really. As push comes in now from SANDBOX, he'll take another turret. And we have Ocean Soul now. So every single Ocean Soul that goes the way of SANDBOX, they are just going to get so much farther ahead with the comp that they do have.
Yep.
That was a little bit interesting.
And Pyosik. Oh,
line him up.
Man.
Line him up. That's a 2-man knockup only, which is a little bit surprising. No flash now on the Summit, but they don't quite have the damage on the left to take him out.
They have no damage in their team composition.
All their damage needs to be right up in the face.
Yeah, it's all
SANDBOX.
inside of Twisted Fate, and the thing is that when Karma hits 3 items, her RE is going to invalidate all of DRX's damage. So, definitely a bit of a difficult spot here if you are a DRX fan.
Yeah. It just makes me think, you know, you were talking about... Well, let's listen to this.
He said F word almost, and then seriously. So
he's not feeling pretty good anymore. Chovy went in there, as I suppose he delayed the Karma. He's going to actually walk away, but now he's got Olaf on top of him with Karma shields, and that's just about as tilting as it gets. And we were talking about this actually, how teams that are really good in their region can kind of just graft whatever they want and still win, and then have shocked Pikachu when they get to Worlds and they lose with the same comps. It feels like that here, except SANDBOX are actually beating them.
Yeah.
It seemed like a little bit of a...
I think that...
I don't know.
The sizable enough advantage right now that SANDBOX has. Some people might be thinking, like, it's only 1,000 gold. No, it's not. It's not only 1,000 gold. May I direct you to Ornn and his items? Those are coming online soon for several members. But then in addition to that, they have the Mountain Dragon, which is giving a lot of value. That is also not apparent on the screen. Then you factor in the base scaling for the champions on the side of SANDBOX, and that's also not visible in terms of numbers on the screen. So, DRX, they should have been ahead a couple thousand, and that would give them an even team fight by the next Dragon. Now, Doran, he could freeze here. There's nothing to do. And Chovy actually has a global, which can then join him if he were freezing. But Doran, bit of a hot date, have to immediately shove the wave back in.
Yeah, and now it's pushing. So if he doesn't push, he's going to lose out on a lot. And I think that ward, maybe it didn't see him. He didn't get pinged. And I don't really know.
Imagine if Ornn didn't just get 100 gold for free. That would be, yeah. I'm not sure
also,
what Chovy.
Like, what is the idea down here? Like, you're not going to kill the Ornn under his turret.
Yeah,
he's so tanky. Look at his item.
They look very, very tilted right now at this point in time. And you know, even if the draft wasn't totally an intentional victory, because again, DRX has a part in allowing this kind of a victory to occur, because they drafted headfirst into it.
Yeah.
So this is sort of what I was talking about in game number 1 at the end, where if you can't beat DRX through laning phase, you can try to let the comp do it, and then eventually just lean on gravity to let you try to carry out a victory. And I mean, at this point, yes, SANDBOX have gotten 7 kills. A lot of those came from DRX blunders, but they haven't thrown anything away. And even if they play super safe and reserved, the team composition is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, from this point, I mean, DRX don't have many opportunities to get proactive and try to, you know, steal the game away, but they're also on that timer you were talking about. That's a big slow onto Aphelios, but, you know, he doesn't really care. And Chovy now is split pushing the side lane. He's probably going to be able to get this turret at least. Okay. That was his stopwatch, actually. He's trying to get out of here and, well, say hello to Olaf. And see you later to your life. TF is going to get bopped down as Chovy makes another blunder in this game too.
Well, I really do think that DRX are probably thinking that this one is lost. Not entirely sure. Karma almost has that death cap. Ornn is level 15, already has given over the Molten Edge. Obsidian Cleaver going to be given over to Olaf. Would really like to see Tahm even just build an ornament item. Obviously, he could get to Salvation, but it looks like he's going for Stone Plate. And Ocean Drake is coming up in 3 seconds. That should be the highest priority right now for SANDBOX. They should just go over, burst the dragon down, get the game to Soul Point, and from there, all good things can happen. And you can see, I think that DRX, what they were thinking is like, all right, well, maybe we can try to cheese the Baron, guys.
It looks like they're still going to go for it. TP comes in, Deft on the Kalista is going to heavily try to force this, as now they're going to turn on to Summit here. Might be able to get him, but no, it's Thomas Kench able to get in and say hello to Karma. Keria in the front line. They have the redemption, but that amount of healing is not going to be the same. They give away the Ocean Drake, not able to take away the Baron, as their turn does not work. And now we got the turn actually from SANDBOX. There's a nice knock-up here from Doran. Might be able to save his team, but it looks like he's going to die instead. Still trying to force this one. Is DragonX still looking for the fight, still staying around. That might be their demise, although Deft is getting some value in the back line. It's not as much as Root, who is just able to auto them all down. And now this should be the Baron going over to the side of SANDBOX.
Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be Baron for sure. This game is just unwinnable at this point for DRX, barring one of SANDBOX's members falling asleep, maybe?
Okay.
I don't think that would really induce a pause, perhaps, but maybe if someone fell, and it can't be Summit. Ornn could actually, he could walk into the enemy team,
yeah,
even while asleep, and I mean, just take a look at this one. It would be totally fine, still make it out. As DRX, they just don't have anything. There's no way to deal damage. Aatrox useless into this team composition. TF does not have enough damage, and the threat of Aphelios just so strong. Karma Shield's completely out of control. It's just very one-sided.
Doran does negative damage to Summit right now.
Yeah.
Summit is regenning faster than Doran can do damage. And they say that draft was... yeah, well... They simply got out-drafted. They weren't able to do much in the early game. They actually got behind. And now SANDBOX are just kind of sitting pretty, letting gravity do the work, as you put it earlier.
Yeah.
And should be able to just push in here with the Baron, see how far they want to go. Not pushing it too far, just looking like they want to take out the inhibitor. As, okay, we are going to have a flank coming in from Doran, as Keria eating a lot of that damage, and Gorilla is so tanky after all of that. And yeah, well, Aphelios is just going to lock you down. Meanwhile, in the front line, they didn't even need Aphelios, and they're still winning the fight. And now he's here. Yeah, Pyosik is going to go down, and that should be the end of the game, guys. Not much else to say about this one. Very one-sided from SANDBOX, it turns out, this time around.
Yeah. And that is going to be all that she wrote here in game number 2. Super stomp by SANDBOX. And, well, it looks like Dove is going to manage to...
Wait, don't kill the Nexus!
Oh!
Oh, okay. GG. Well, one